One of the things that I just want to kind of name, I don't want us to breeze past it, but you said something and I had to jot it down real quick. Um, and I'll talk just real quickly kind of about kind of the progression that we've been moving through the channeling space. But you said something in particular which caught my attention, and I think it's important that we talk about this, or at least name it and put it into the field in in a very conscious way. But you specifically mentioned the children template and the family template, and I think that's important to name and talk about too, because we've been anchoring versions of that personally and within our community as well too. We've done we're anchoring personal templates. We've anchored community templates specifically, but I love the thoughts of the family template and the children template as well. And I was thinking family template. So family template for me, I was thinking about this the other day actually. We were sitting up on the side of a mountain doing some calling in, channeling, vibing, gridding, and the family template specifically had stepped forward, and I was thinking about like the template of, weaving the human with the galactic, right? Because we have our galactic family or our cosmic family, soul family, if you want to, whatever term feels most aligned to you, and then we have like our human family too. So it's kind of like weaving that as a starseed. There is this kind of like, you go through this period of time where it's like longing for home, ET phone home, missing home at some point, along your journey. I think everybody here has experienced some of that. But then also, if you're still connected to your family, we have our human family as well too. And there is this really interesting frequency as we're shifting timelines so rapidly, literally day by day, minute by minute, hour by hour, and the family is kind of woven into that. So whether it's like mother, father, and these are collective reflections too. It's not just within our own personal families, brother, sister. There's brand new starseeds that are coming in, light workers that are being born as well too, that are coming to the planet. But there is this really nuanced kind of timeline things happening as we're converging and ascending on that spiral. There is like the human family as well too, and at times it's like, I get calls from, or I call my family rather. They don't really call me, but I'll call them, and it's just off the wall, like really crazy stuff that they'll say, and I just realize it's like, man, like I continue to try and try and try. At times there's different energetics connected to that, but at times it's like, man, like the timelines are shifting, and we're up leveling, and we're having this higher dimensional consciousness that's anchoring into our bodies, and it's just, part of us, like, it's hard not to be in your like emotions, right, in your emotional body about some of this stuff, especially if you're really close to some of your family members, or maybe it's like a partner, or maybe it's like a significant other, somebody that you're just, I feel like intuitively some of us in the community are experiencing that kind of in the now moment, and it's maybe like a little bit tender, or maybe raw, or maybe there's some, with all of this like channeling that we're doing too, we're getting a lot of clarity, we're getting new gifts and abilities that are anchoring in. And kind of the benefits of being a channel and hopping on here and honing your channel together is that we get to bypass kind of the human analytical mind, and you can channel directly from source, your highest self, whoever it is that you're connected to. I channel like my highest purest essence, pure consciousness. And a lot of times those answers don't necessarily come in like super resonant. People will ask me to channel for them, or I'll channel things for myself. And it's like, oh man, like that wasn't the answer that I was hoping for, or that answer is a little bit different than what I was expecting, or the person, I share something with them and it doesn't feel super aligned, but this is kind of the channel, you know what I mean? And it's that throat chakra we've been talking about too, as like telling like giving somebody like the full truth and not having to like modulate yourself, because we're talking about frequency, or like turn yourself down, or maybe switch up some of the words to make it a little bit more palatable. Because if somebody told me too, it's like, if you're channeling for somebody and something comes through, like that, they're in the frequency to like hear that kind of in its true form, which I found really interesting. So you got something.
Yeah, as a well, I don't know if you know, I'm a tarot reader, so yeah, there's something that you want to give to people, and there's sometimes you just like, yeah, you don't, you feel like things, and like, let's say one of my greatest friend just passed away this weekend, and we did like a meditation together to bring her some peace, and she had like a big like a cancer, but it was very like drastic and rapid. And I could see her like we were like meditating together and bringing her like the light and the peace and the healing, whatever we could do. But I could see like that sarcophagus, like a sarcophagus, like next to her. And I wasn't like, even if I could see that, and they say, "Well, what do you see, Genevieve?" And I'm like, I'm not gonna tell them. Or maybe, you know what I did? Actually, I said, no, no, it's probably because it's healing. You know, you put yourself in sarcophagus because it's healing. But you know what? The truth was that she was about to pass. And sometimes even our channel, even if it's clear, we don't want to see it, or sometimes it tries to tell us something, but we're not ready, or emotionally sometimes we just like put it aside. Or so we have to be also yeah, caring about that too. And so I just wanted to jump in and say that about, because sometimes we're like, oh, is it my channel, is it me, or is it, and I'm like, okay, but more and more it's clear. But sometimes we're just like, nah, we're just gonna push some things aside, and we're like, not yet, or not now, or yeah.
I feel like I've been traversing that kind of territory more so lately than others, of just like having the information, getting the pings, but then it's almost like a whole new process that I'm being invited to go deeper with, in terms of like, well, what is the right, like, what is the most aligned thing to say? How is it, to be presented? And not in like a filtering self kind of way, but more in like like, what is the most aligned way to be, to actually assist here? And just like you were saying, like, oh, I see this thing, but like, how do I say this? I find myself saying that a lot lately. Because sometimes it's like, is it even mine to say, or is it just like to be witnessed? And, it's for someone else to kind of come to in their own way. And so that's a bit of territory I've been navigating as well.
I've noticed that when I'm listening to somebody channel, the reactions are a little stronger when it's for me. Like, um, if somebody is like giving advice or direction and it's being channeled versus it's coming from something programmed or trained or like really ingrained in that person. And I feel that I've noted there's like a change in how it sounds. Like when people are channeling, especially if they're channeling, like if they're speaking from like a pain body or something, um, like it's visible, it's audible. Like they might hunch over, they might, like be holding onto that pain in the body, or the voice just, I don't know. When I listen to it, I hear it in a certain part of my throat that it's like, gosh, doesn't it hurt to talk like that? Like, not the, and it does, because I'm human and I do those things too. And I'm like, it does hurt to talk like that. But yeah, I remember. So the first time I ever got a reading, it was it's like 2012 or 13. It was like right around New Year's. Exactly. And I still have the recording, and every now and then I'm like, when I listen to that again, it's going to blow my mind, because she made like predictions for my early 40s, and that is where I am. But it's there was a couple times I was like, well, what about this? And like her answer, I was like, that didn't come from like up above. Like that didn't come from a divine place. That came from a very contracted place. Um, but I didn't feel like I didn't say that or anything. But I wonder what would happen if I did. Like, where's that one coming from? Like, what does that one feel like? Because that one felt different. I don't know. If I can bring out like the curious part and not the like, don't tell me what to do because you think you know. Yeah, that part's not very helpful. But funny. There's like a lot of neck movement and sometimes like Latina accent comes out even though, I grew up in outside Washington DC and so I don't naturally have an accent. But sometimes when you just gotta put some attitude, it's just I don't know, I like my accent.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's
Yeah,
funny.
I feel voices in different places, and I'm wondering if any other people experience that too.
Totally. Oh, can I say totally?
Yay!
I don't have naturally any accents either. I mean, Utah, I guess, but like every once in a while, like I'll get a bit of an English accent or an Irish accent. Lately, there's been a
Sometimes they're
little
great,
Russian
and
coming out
sometimes
of
they're
there.
horrible.
Yes, exactly. Yes, darling.
An English man, Chris, he worked for my stepdad. He was so nice. He went back like, oh man, it's been like 20 years now. But his his American accent was the funniest thing I had ever heard because it was just some really bad stereotypes. But then again, so were most of my English accents. Every now and then he'd be like, "Oh, I recognize that one. Like that's from this area." And I see something else. He's like, "Nah, you went to like Aussie or something. I don't know what you just did." But,
Yeah, channeling is interesting because I have the ability to see other people's channels, hear, see, feel other people's channels as well too, and there is this kind of fine line between intuition and higher dimensional awareness, like channeling. So you're bypassing the analytical mind. So Lee Harris, you can hear like a lot of times like they use a different pattern of speech and they'll choose different kind of like they'll use different kind of like words. So like we normally speak in patterns and we choose similar words the way that we speak. So in channeling, you'll hear kind of a deviation from their normal speech pattern, or you'll hear different word choices that aren't like super typical. And when I first started channeling, the temptation is to really sit in the intuition and then you're calling in the channeling. And then now over the past year plus, it's kind of like it's split for me where it's like, okay, if I'm channeling, I'm really kind of changing states and getting out of the intuition, because you can tap, all of us are intuitive. Every single person here is super intuitive, and we've been intuitive like our whole lives, but channeling is kind of that next level intuition that bypasses like the filter, it bypasses all of the
Thank you.
Well, here's the other
um
fun thing about
yeah.
channeling that I'm like sitting with today is like realizing the ways in which like as multidimensional souls, like we literally channel sometimes without even being conscious of it. Like so I woke up today in an interesting place. My dream space has been a lot about like reconciling unresolved feelings of the past and like reclaiming all the energy from those parallels. And like so I kind of woke up in a space of sadness this morning because of a long line of like different levels of like let's just call it grief for lack of a better word. And it took me a little while, it took me a couple hours to really realize like why I was feeling that. Like on a level, like maybe that's a personal thing I needed to see for some reason, but also I was doing some weeding in the yard and I saw my family recently sort of my family's really interesting the way that things come through, but they like everybody's got their own ideas about things, and when they want to solve a problem, they just get in there and do it. And so anyway, there was some ants, and so somebody hired a pest control person to come and like spray all the ants. And so I'm out weeding in the park strip, and I'm noticing these whole sloths of like dead ants everywhere, and I'm going, oh. But then I see like some movement moving around, and so I'm just like, I'm also just kind of in awe at the like the different levels of like microcosm, macrocosm, and how all of the reflections play out. Because I had this moment of recognition where I was like, there were ants that survived that are going around and like checking for all of the dead bodies to see if there's any like survivors basically or ones worth saving. And I'm just going, wow. So this is why I felt a huge wave of grief earlier today, and just recognizing and honoring like the co-creation process. But also it got me thinking, because last year we did a whole thing around 6-6 that was like ending battle timelines and ending like war kind of mindsets, like, and all of those levels of things. And I'm also preparing to do a bit of a gridding exercise this coming 6-6 as like another level of that closeout. And so with today being 5-5, I just had this whole moment where I was like, oh, wow, all the information is just coming through, and like almost like portal hopping. It's like I'm seeing this whole battlefield play out in the yard as like, I don't know, a bit of a, so I just had a whole moment where I was just like sent love and forgiveness into the field, as well as like positive forward moving energy of like finding new spaces, finding new excitement, finding new ways to express and be loved. And anyway, so that's kind of been my like recognition of like channeling today, is as much as we sit and consciously like get in the channel and bring through information, like even just by the nature of this journey and the process and who we are and what we're doing, like we are the conduits of a lot of different stuff, and it's really cool to witness. So just kudos to everybody here because we're so cool, and everyone watching as well.